Hi friends, we left off at chapter 2 with Stingray and Lumpy and Plastic pretending to act in a movie. And Stingray is pretending to be Daisy Sparkle, and Lumpy is hiding underneath the rocking horse, and they're just having a lot of fun. Let's see. I forget where I left off, but I'll start again. And your underground lair can't be Highlander, objects Stingray. He's my unicorn. It's my lair because I'm in it, growls Lumpy. I've captured your unicorn too. How about that? I wasn't ready, cries Stingray. We didn't even start, and now you're kidnapping everybody. Plastic bounces forward. I can escape, right, Daisy Sparkle? Can't Plumcake escape? Can't she fly? Wiggy, corrects Stingray. Wiggy is your name, and you're a boy. Plastic stops bouncing. I don't want to be a boy, she protests. I'm a girl. It's pretend, Plastic, says Stingray. In pretend, girls can be boys and boys can be girls. Anyone can be whatever they want. Look, Lumpy's being a witch, right? Yeah, but I'm a boy witch, says Lumpy. You are not. I am too. I'm going to magic your unicorn and turn it into a dragon for me to ride on, cries Lumpy, grabbing a pickup stick and using it for a wand. And I'll magic the ugly fairies too. Mice, you all have been turned into gremlins, and you must do my evil bidding. Ooh, make me a gremlin, please Plastic. Make me a girl gremlin, magic me. Stop, cries Stingray, you guys are playing it all wrong. It's pretend, Lumpy reminds her. Anyone can be whatever they want. Gremlin, gremlin, yells Plastic. But it's not the movie. Stingray bangs her tail on the floor. And you took my unicorn. That's not what's supposed to happen. Lumpy brandishes his wand. Why can't he play the way he wants? Cackle is turning you into a spoon, Daisy Sparkle, he cries, because you are no fun Bossyboots. Why is Lumpy ruining everything? Stingray will not have it. I'm not a spoon, you're a spoon, she cries, grabbing one end of the wand. No, you're a spoon, yells Lumpy. You, spoon. Then you're a fork, cries Stingray. Spoon is worse. No, fork is worse. Don't call me fork, cries Lumpy, dropping the wand and launching himself at Stingray. He bats her face with a buffalo paw and sinks his teeth into her left flipper. Ow! If Stingray could bleed, she would be bleeding a lot right now. Lumpy chops harder, and Stingray swings her long tail around and hits him in the head. Wonk! And again, wonk! And finally, wonk! Lumpy lets go. Oof! Lumpy has a chunk of Stingray's plush in his teeth. Pfft. But while he's spitting out plush, Stingray bangs him upside the head with a flipper. Bap! Sheep is now awake and bleeding in distress, while Plastic bounds around the room squealing, Stop! Stop! The mice, Bonkers, Millie, Brownie, and Rocky view the proceedings as entertainment. Stingray bangs Lumpy with the other flipper, this time on his woolly buffalo neck. Ooh, squeaks Millie, she landed a good one on him there. They need to control their temper, says Rocky. They should use their words. Stingray hits Lumpy in the tummy with her tail. Bap, knocking him over. Now Lumpy, back on his feet, lowers his head and shakes his buffalo horns. He is so angry. Stingray is such a Bossyboots all the time. Charge! Rumpa, lumpa, rumpa, lumpa. Lumpy goes for Stingray like a bull in a bullfight. He rams his horns into her, tearing a hole in her side, then tosses her up through the air and across the room, where, whap, she lands in the big toy box. Lumpy doesn't care if Stingray's hurt. He doesn't care if she never talks to him again. Horrible Bossyboots Stingray. Still wearing his cape, Lumpy runs, rumpa lumpa, rumpa lumpa, out of Honey's bedroom, past the bathroom, and into the grown-up bedroom. Honey's room is silent, except for the thump, of Plastic, letting herself cease bouncing and rolling to a stop. Are you okay, Stingray? She calls into the quiet. A flipper peeks over the edge of the big toy box and waves weakly. She's okay, cried the mice. She's the winner. whispers Bonkers to Millie. I knew she could win. She's got a great tail, hasn't she? And Lumpy hasn't got any tail at all, just a stumpy bit. Stingray's flipper grabs hold of the box's edge, and she hauls herself over onto the carpet. Plastic inspects her wound. You have a hole, she tells Stingray. You're going to need to get it sewn up if you don't want your stuffing coming out. Stingray nods. Then her face crumples, and her mouth turns down, and her eyes squint. And she would be crying tears if she could. Anyway, she is crying, just without the tears. Fur, fur. There's no Lumpy to tell her not to panic. Lumpy has hardly ever been in the grown-up bedroom before. The bed is lower than Honey's, but so wide it takes up almost the whole room. The closet is enormous, and through another door is a bathroom inhabited by purple towels, whom Lumpy doesn't know very well. 2 tall dressers loom at the far end, and in between them is a low wooden chair with a basket on it. There are no toys and nothing underneath the bed except a mom sock and a cookbook. Lumpy stomps in furious circles under the bed for several minutes. Then he emerges and begins kicking the wooden chair with his left hind leg. That's Stingray. Lumpy kicks again. She always has to be the important one. She always wants to make the rules. Hitting me with her tail, he mutters to himself. As if a tail is so useful. As if a tail is such a great thing to have. Another kick. I don't know why Honey took her to the movies anyway, Lumpy grunts. I would have liked to see a movie. I would have liked it as much as Stingray. I would have liked it more, actually. Another kick, harder this time. And ooh, the chair wobbles, and the basket on it tips. The stuff in the basket tumbles out. Yarn and thread and needles and fabric. It's a craft basket, and several balls of rainbow yarn land on top of Lumpy. He jerks his head around, but that only serves to stick his horns tight into an acrylic blend ball. He rolls on his back, on his side, on his back, oofa, 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 and around some more, trying to get out from under. Soon poor Lumpy's tangled in rainbow yarn, and he can't seem to untangle no matter how he rolls. Without thinking, he cries out, Stingray, help! But no Stingray helps this time, and he knows no Stingray's coming. Stingray is wounded. Her flipper has a hole in it, made by buffalo teeth and horns. Lumpy lies on his side, tangled in yarn, for a long while. Finally, when he hears the sound of the family car pulling into the driveway, Lumpy struggles to his feet. He takes something from the craft basket in his mouth and shuffles underneath the grown-up bed, his feet jumbled in yarn, and his head bowed with the weight of a ball of rainbow acrylic on his horns. As soon as Honey sees me, she'll have me mended, Stingray tells Plastic. She'll be so mad that Lumpy made a hole in me, she'll take care of it right away. Then she'll punish Lumpy really bad. This idea makes Plastic nervous. Punish him how? Oh, she'll spank him with dry spaghetti, or maybe make him drink nasty fruit punch-tasting medicine, or she'll give him 68 timeouts, where he has to sit in a bucket by himself in the hallway, says Stingray as if she knows. But when Honey comes in, smelling of toothpaste and strawberry soap, she takes Stingray to bed as usual, without noticing the hole. How can Honey not see that there's a gaping hole in Stingray's flipper, with stuffing peeking out? Exactly where there was no hole at all when they went to the movies and had all that specialness together? Honey goes to sleep after 10 pages of the story about the mouse in the dungeon, but Stingray lies there awake, long after 8:30, patting her own wounded flipper in the dark and saying, there, it'll be okay, because nobody else is around to say it. It's midnight by the time the grown-ups fall asleep. The house is dark, and from his hiding place under the parents' bed, Lumpy can hear the toy mice giggling. It sounds as if Highlander and Sheep are having a conversation, and Plastic is in the bathroom bouncing around. Lumpy can hear her showing off for Tuk-Tuk. Still trailing yarn with a ball of rainbow acrylic on his head, and holding the something he got from the craft basket between his teeth, Lumpy limps to Honey's room. It is slow going, as his feet are tangled and his head woefully heavy. But Lumpy gets there and asks the toy mice to untangle his legs and pull the ball of yarn off his horns. Quietly, he climbs onto the high bed where Stingray and Honey are sleeping. He taps Stingray's tail, hoping to wake her up. She doesn't move. Psst, Stingray, whispers Lumpy. Look what I brought. She doesn't wake. Carefully, Lumpy takes the something in his paws. It is a needle, already threaded with blue thread. Lumpy pokes it into the edge of Stingray's wound with his front teeth, then pulls it through the other side with his buffalo teeth. Holding the bit of thread down with one foot, he loops the needle through and pulls it tight to make a knot. Then he sews up Stingray's hole in neat stitches, pushing it with the forefeet and pulling out with the teeth, until it's time to make another knot. He bites the thread so as not to leave any of it trailing, and scurries back to the grown-up bedroom to return his supplies to the craft basket, which Honey's mom has straightened up. Stingray wakes at 5 in the morning. Her flipper feels different, feels better. She twists her head to look at it and sees a lovely row of royal blue stitches, almost invisible unless you were looking for them. She's fixed. She is as good as new. At first she thinks Honey must have done it, but Honey is sound asleep with her mouth slightly open, and Stingray has to admit that Honey never wakes at night unless she has a nightmare. Stingray moves to the edge of the bed and peeks over to see if any toys are awake. Nobody is. Sheep is tipped over beneath Highlander, and the mice are cuddled together under the toy box where they like to hide. Lumpy's returned. He's asleep in his favorite spot on the fringed pillow on the floor. But what's that? Stingray leaps down and scoots over to look more closely. A piece of royal blue thread trails from Lumpy's mouth. It's the same thread as Stingray's stitches. Now Stingray understands. Lumpy must have done it. Stingray doesn't know how he managed, but Lumpy must have sewed her up with blue. A beautiful, wonderful color of blue, which is already the best color of all the colors there are in the world. If that isn't an apology, Stingray decides it is something awfully close. Maybe it's even something better. I think that's a pretty good apology, friends. So, even though they're friends, they had a big fight. But I think Lumpy pretty much made up with that. That was really sweet, actually, that he stitched her up while she was sleeping. Kind of like a nice surprise. So, my time is running close, so I thought I'll start fresh with chapter 3 tomorrow. It's called The Garbage Eating Shark, which is not the same as the possible shark. Ooh, it's different. Okay, friends, I will see you soon.